guys, I'm Jordan and I'm from SoccerReviews.com, and today we've probably got our biggest unboxing video of the year. We've managed to get our hands on the very limited edition Nike Greenspeed. Now, the Nike Greenspeed was unveiled about a month ago by Nike prior to the Olympics, which was and we saw the boot worn by Neymar. Now, he's the only official Nike athlete who's allowed to wear the boots. And because it's a concept boot, not a general release boot, only 2012 pairs of the boot have been made so far. So we've got pair number 1494 out of 2012, with the box, clearly, and the boots also being specifically numbered to show you which number boot that you've got. Even though all the boots are sold out at the moment, we're going to say a little something at the end of the video that might really excite people who couldn't get their hands on the boot when it was released. Now, the boot, the box itself, very minimalistic design. It's actually made of recycled cardboard and does fit in with Nike's Better World ethos that they're going in when they're creating this boot. On the inside of the box, you have a little spiel from Nike about what sport can actually do, all in this green print. And on the bottom there, you can see it's the Nike Better World. That's what it's really all about. And just down here, you have another little tagline that says that this boot has been engineered for superior athletic performance and also lower environmental impact. When Nike went about making their Nike Greenspeed, that's really what they wanted to do. They didn't want to go about and say, hey, let's make the lightest boot in the world. What they wanted to do was prove that they could make a football boot that was also, performs well and also is environmentally friendly. And that's something I'm really going to touch on throughout this unboxing. Now, I'm pretty sure you guys know a lot about the boot, but I'll just go through the facts and the little things you might not be able to pick up on with the pictures that you've seen so far. First thing I want to say, these boots are actually awesome. Even though I was really excited to get the boot, the boot is really amazing when you pick it up, and it's so light. Remember the first time you picked up a synthetic Adizero and you're probably blown away about how light it was? This is how I felt picking up the Greenspeed. It looks a lot lighter than you think it does. It is really brilliant. Now, one thing that we want to touch on is that this isn't a Mercurial. It's just the Nike Greenspeed. People are calling it the Mercurial Greenspeed. It definitely is not. This is just a standalone boot and is really a concept boot, as we said earlier in the video. So what makes this boot really unique? A lot of things, actually. Let's start with this section here. Now, this is a Kangalite upper, but it's not like any other Kangalite. It's really thin. Even though it is technically Kangalite 2, which has been used on the new CTR3, it's really gives away easily, and it's super thin, and that says everything about it. So why was Kangalite used ahead of, say, kangaroo leather? Remember how I said this boot is meant to be environmentally friendly? Well, by selecting to use Kangalite, Nike are able to cut the carbon emissions by 30% over the use of kangaroo leather. So that's why it's been used. As we move over to the midfoot, where we really don't need the kangaroo leather, the Kangalite upper, we've got this recycled polyester here, and if you look at it, you can perhaps see the grains of it. It is, quite textural, but it's not like it'll really affect anything. It's kind of hard to describe, but you can feel the fibers as you run your finger up and down it. And of course, these black sections here, these ones that stand out in the light, originally when we first saw the boot, we thought it might have been Nike's new Flyknit technology. But it's really just there for support. But what's actually supporting the boot? Well, that's what we can see when you look inside the boot. Inside the boot, there is this very much like a suede-like support bands, and that's what they are. They're not there to really, aid your midfoot stability or anything like that. It is there to keep the boot together. And when you really look at how thin that boot is, they really need a lot of support to keep it together. Another thing that's interesting, you've got the inside here, you've got the heel cup, a heel sort of design that we haven't seen really since the Mercurial Vapor 4. A little touch to the retro, which we actually, we quite like to see coming out from Nike. It's very stiff. In comparison to the rest of the boot, this section really doesn't give away as much as, say, up here. It's really quite stable. It'll probably take a little while to break it in. It does have a little bit of sponginess to it, but not much at all. It looks like it could be blisters if you wore them, but look, I guess we'll have to find out. Now, something you might not notice is that the new sock liner, that's the white thing in there, has been really dramatically changed from any other Nike sock liner. I've taken the sock liner out of the left boot here. You can really see it is outrageously thin and lightweight. It's barely 5 grams, I think. It's absolutely ridiculous. And also, it's actually quite dense for what it looks like. It almost feels like the Poron that you see inside the sock liners of the T90, the Tiempo. It's really quite, I imagine it would be quite comfortable when I use it, and it's still very lightweight and really keeping the weight of the boot down. So innovative, Nike. Top marks for that. It looks, it's absolutely brilliant. Also, another thing that's different about the Greenspeed, I'm not sure if you can quite see it in there, but right down the bottom is a section of the boot called the toe board. It's like that light brownie section. Not sure if you'll be able to see it, but you might be able to see it a little bit. So, when Nike went about designing the toe board of the Greenspeed, what they've done is that they've made it a closed-loop production line. So that means that no wastage materials are produced when they produce a toe board. Again, keeping the waste down, keeping the environment as safe as we can and as clean as we can. Another aspect that's different about the boot, well, we'll move on to the sole plate. That's where it's a lot of action is happening. So you've got 2 different types of materials that have been used in the sole plate. You've got Eco TPU, and you've also got Pebax Renew. Pebax Renew has in fact been made with castor beans, and it's brilliant. If you actually look up on Google what castor beans are, it will blow you away about what has gone into this boot when it's been produced. Now, actually, something I haven't touched on, there's my number there, 1,494 2012. Moving on now, so you got the stud configuration that's very unique as well. Let's start down here. We've got the 2 heel studs at the bottom. Okay, we've seen that before. We've seen that on the Mercurial Vapor 8. But you've also got this little one here. This is meant to act as like a braking stud, because when you think about it, if you get a brake, your heel is always going to be touching the ground. So that's meant to act as a little braking stud. Would it work? I'm not sure. But if you look at it in comparison to the size of the 2 other heel studs, I don't know. I have my reservations about it. But, it's a nice little thing from Nike, something we haven't seen before. And, it's certainly quite, interesting to see how it will go. And now, once we get to the toe, there's actually 2 types of studs that have been used here. You have 2 bladed studs on the outside, and on the inside, you have 2 it's like half conical studs. They're like little half moons. Now, the point of this is that when you brake, when you try and accelerate, you're always going to accelerate using your instep. You never go off your off the outside. So by having the 2 conical studs on the outstep, on the instep, it means that your studs draw out quicker, and that means you can accelerate more. Whereas on the outside, where you've got the traction, the more bladed studs, that's for traction, which is where conical studs have a bit of a downfall. So, a nice little thing that Nike got there, and these studs are really, really hard. They're solid as anything. Really good to see. So that's pretty much a really quick tour of the Nike Greenspeed. Unlike any other review website, we're actually going to review the boot. Call me crazy, but I'd love to just test it out and see what Nike have put into this boot. If you guys want to convince me otherwise, just leave a few comments in the comments section. As I said at the start of the video, we have a 90% little inkling from one of our sources that Nike will release more Greenspeed boots. We can't confirm 100%, but we're about 90% sure it's going to happen. So if you didn't get your pair of Greenspeeds when they were first released, buy them, wait for December. We believe they're coming out in December. Don't pay €300 on eBay. I've seen a pair for €300. Don't do it, because there will be more on sale very soon. Anyway, that's it for this unboxing video. Don't forget to check out the full review. I'll have it up in about 3 or 4 weeks' time, and the first impressions of the video will be up next. Impressions of the boot will be up next week. Until then, thank you very much for watching, guys, and keep reading soccer reviews.